It's good to have it somewhere, but I mean,
What's today? 8/20, 8/20, 2024.
thank you.
Jen, can I just get a couple of those sheets from you before we start? I'm sorry. Thank you. Just so you know, I talked to Dan McCarthy today. He legitimately sounded like he was going to die. He was so sick.
What item does it have?
The 394, it's this one. So Frank Cirillo's coming instead. It's on your under budget and finance.
Okay. Hey. How you doing?
These were the updated sheets that had given budget and finance. I'm not sure if those ones get into the packets.
They're in
That's
there.
packages for everybody?
No, one for each counselor, and then there's extra.
I'll walk around here.
How you doing? The water and sewer, what they provided at the budget and finance, the updated one.
I'm pretty positive that's in your package.
Okay. Oh, just on 11%. It's gonna kill me. Let me get a package. What do you have? Packages? It's dying. Already? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We good? Thanks a lot.
I like it. Right in there. It's like, let's go, people.
I don't remember if this was a favorable.
Which one is that?
38, I mean, 388, that's 24.
Yeah, I think I'll check it. She didn't, sorry, Counselor. She didn't note it, so I don't know.
That's a committee report. Where's,
You want to ask Bill? Hold on.
yeah,
Yeah. Bill. He said, full disclosure, he wasn't going to be sure, but he thought it was favorable. Not a committee report.
and the general. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You good? You good?
I'm good. You good?
Good? Come. Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting for the Lawrence City Council. Today is Tuesday, August 20, 2024. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Act of 2022, this meeting will be hybrid, allowing participation both in person and at the City Council chambers, as well as remotely. The Zoom link for this meeting was provided to anybody that requested through the city clerk. And also this meeting is being transmitted through the Lawrence City Council Facebook page as well as the Lawrence City Council YouTube page. Roll call, Madam Clerk, please.
Councilor Levy.
Sorry.
Present.
Councilor LaPlante is noted as absent. Councilor Luzon. Councilor Del Rosario.
Present.
Councilor Santiago.
Present.
Councilor Marmol.
Present.
Councilor Reyes.
Present.
Council Vice President Infante.
Present.
Council President Rodriguez.
Present. Please join me for a moment of silence. Now join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Today there is no minute to be approved, and we're going to proceed with public participation. We have two people that sign up for public participation today. The rules are as follows. Please refer to the council as a whole, not to any individual councilor. You're going to have 2.5 minutes to speak. At the 2-minute mark, you're going to hear a beep indicating that you still have 30 seconds to finish your comment. The first person that we have for public participation is H. Mali. Name and address for the record, please.
Humayun Mali, 53 Chester Street. Good evening, honorable members. We, the citizen, thankful to Honorable Council and Honorable Mayor Brian De Pena for making history by granting contract for Lawrence Police Officers Union. Lawrence Police, with the impeccable leadership by Honorable Chief Bonilla, doing excellent job to protect our citizens. We support Lawrence Police Officers Union, Seniors Officers Union. Million thanks to our DPW workers for making Lawrence a beautiful city. We support DPW union and leadership. Lawrence Inspection Department, thank you for excellent job. We support Lawrence Inspector Union and leadership. We must hire more inspectors. Lawrence Public School with the impeccable leadership, Honorable Ralph Guerrero moving forward. Lawrence teachers, thank you for excellent job. We support Lawrence Teachers Union. We are grateful to Honorable Richard Rodriguez, ADA Coordinator, to create the best accessible environment for our disabled citizens. Please bring food and donation every Wednesday to Buckley Garage to help our homeless. We demand the best contract for our awesome firefighters with 3% COLA raise and hazard pay. Lawrence always is strong. Lawrence always unite. Lawrence one city under God. We are proud to support Lawrence Police Union. Pray for the safety of all police officers endangering their life every day. Lawrence police officers, thank you for working so hard to making Lawrence a safe city. We stand united in support of your union. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person that we have on the for public participation is Richard Russell, Councilor Russell. Name and address for the record.
Good evening, councilors. My name's Richard Russell. I reside at 34 Cross Street. First, a hats off to a city agency for doing something in a proper manner, i.e. National Aviation Day at Lawrence Airport last Saturday. The airport director, Francisco Urena, deserves a big pat on the back for a job well done. Now that the good has been complimented on, let us start on the oopsies. First, I make these comments as an individual who's been observing the city council antics since January of 2011, and as an individual, to the chagrin of some and the displeasure of others, having the honor of serving 10 months as a councilor at large the last term, so I make these comments with a certain degree of expertise. At what point has sending agenda items down from the third floor to the council without all the paperwork in the councilor's packet become the norm? Case in point, agenda item 39424 for the demolition of the garage on Florence Street, and not knowing who the abutters on Florence Street and not knowing who the abutters on the northerly side of the property is. 5 minutes of searching the MyMap website gives me the names of those two abutters as the mayor and the former District D City Councilor Oneida Aquino. Also, agenda item 34724, an item to move the grant writer into another job title. When asked by several councilors at a committee meeting what the new salary for that position might be, they got the answer, "We're still working on it." Shouldn't the salary have been included in the councilor's packet? I think so, and so do a lot of Lawrence voters. If memory serves me right, the FY24 budget, the salary for that position was about $49,000, with the individual picking up about a $50,000 stipend. In the FY25 budget, the salary has become $104,000. God and the powers on the third floor only know what the new salary will be, and that the possibility of being able to work from home is almost like hitting the Democratic Party salary lottery. As always, I thank you for the time.
Thank you so much. With all these names are going to be submitted for the record. We're going to, yes?
I was here for council approval as well. I just didn't know I had to write my name.
Do you have a public comment, public participation? Or are you here for a document? Okay, so later on you're going to hear your document. With that said, we're going to continue with the next item on the agenda, which is public hearings. We have item 7824, the install of one SO pole on Auburn Street near Church Street and Oak Street, number 303-43160. Madam Clerk, please read the notice for the record.
Notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, August 20th at 7 p.m. in the council chambers, 200 Common Street, Lawrence, Mass. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023 and in accordance with the recently revised City Council Rule 2, this meeting will be hybrid, allowing participation both in person and remotely to accommodate any participant with health considerations that prevents them from participating in person. To receive access codes for the remote participation, please contact the city clerk at eileen.bernal@cityoflawrence.com or 978-620-3230. The meeting may be viewed on Facebook and YouTube. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning a petition presented by the Massachusetts Electric Company doing business as National Grid, requesting the City of Lawrence, Mass. By and through its city council members for permission to locate poles, wires, and fixtures, including any necessary and sustaining and protective fixtures along and across the public ways it's install one SO pole on Auburn Street near Short Street and Oak Street. The reference number is number 303-431-160. Copies of the relevant plans for the above reference petition is on file with the office of the city clerk and may be viewed upon request. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Anybody from the public that wishes to speak?
Vasna Ang, 1101 Turnpike Street, represent National Grid.
Perfect. You have the floor.
Yes, seeking the council's approval to pass the petition to install a servicing pole on Oak Street in order to accommodate the new power that is required for the school going in.
All right. Councilors, do you have any questions? I hear none. Thank you so much. Anybody from the public that wishes to speak? With that said, public hearing is now closed. Councilors, what's the motion?
Motion to approve?
There is a motion to approve. There is a, wait. Waive 30, there
I
is a
second.
petition to waive 30 days? It's gonna wait for 30 days.
Motion to approve and waive 30 days.
There is a motion on to approve and waive the 30 days.
Second.
It's been second, discussion. There is none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you so much. Now we're going to proceed with the committee reports. The first committee report that we have is the Budget and Finance. The Budget and Finance reports. Madam Vice President Infante and Chair of the Budget and Finance Committee, the report for item 38724.
Thank you, Council President. Item 387-24, the authorization to expend grant funds in the amount of $11,389.70 for the FY24 SAFE and/or Senior SAFE grant, was sent up with a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
Second.
There's a motion on the table, properly second. Discussions?
Council President?
Madam Vice President Infante.
Thank you. We do have the chief here with us this evening. He wasn't available during the Budget and Finance, but he did send someone to represent him, and I just, in case he wanted to add anything.
Oh, no,
Oh, you-
I typed up what I wanted him to say.
Perfect.
Deputy NATO represented me.
Okay.
He did a very good job.
Thank you.
All right, any questions for the chief in regard to this item? I hear none. At this point, I call the question. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Any nays? The ayes have it. Item 38824, Madam Vice President Infante.
Item 388-24, annual fire service charges / water and sewer connection fees was sent up by the Budget and Finance Committee with a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
There is a motion on the table, properly second. Discussions. Councilors, I wasn't able to be at the Budget and Finance Committee due to the fact that I was the interim mayor at that point. We just received these updated sheets, which is updated compared to the one that you provided at the Budget and Finance, correct?
It's the same as the Budget and Finance.
Okay. Do you mind going over for other councilors to make sure that they have it as well as me?
Sure, so I'm just gonna, the ones that say see attachment A, I'm just gonna skip over those ones, because there's a couple of documents that go to that. But the first one in line, we have the $40 per survey fee. So that's going up by $15. It was $25. We just put that in line with, based on like an hour worth of work. Typically, the cross-connection survey, you start at the water meter, and you would work your way through the building to every last faucet or anything in the building that's connected to the water line. So it does take some time and effort for that. We have the updated fog permit application fee. There was no fee before for this. I think we need a fee for it. We have it in Citizen Serve now. It's gonna help us just, educate the public better. We could use some of the money for flyers and helping with inspections and things like that. If we move down to the hydrant permit fee, typically we were charging $40 or metered usage. It's not really worth our time to have a contractor use a hydrant for that cost, just based on the time involved with it. So we switched it to $200 plus the metered usage. When we get the meters back, they typically only use like $100 to $200 worth of water. So that's why we wanted to have the base fee of $200 for that. The charge of $2,200, that's to include the water meter. It's a 3-inch water meter with a backflow device. And we give that to the contractor. That's fully refundable once we receive the meter back. That's just in case of theft or loss, if they lose it or something to replace it.
So quick question on that.
Yes,
The meter and backflow preventer deposit, $2,200, that's for the commercial users?
yes. If you need to use a hydrant in the city, we'll
So you
keep
need- you
the whole
plug the-
unit,
the-
meter and the backflow connected, and it costs
Okay.
about $2,200.
Okay.
It's a little bit less than that, but we just evened it out. Some contractors do have their own meters, so we can go and read that, but this is fully refundable anyways, so they won't lose money on it. We added an $80 per application to review the water and sewer service applications. So anybody developing in the city, if they present us plans in the department, we spend probably, half hour to an hour reviewing the plans, checking the size of the water mains, making sure all that's gonna actually work. So we think that we wanna have that $80 application fee involved, and that would be on Citizen Serve as well.
So everything that is on red is a change.
What was that?
Everything that is on red is a
Yes.
change.
Yep.
Councilors,
Everything
any
else is
questions?
the same. So if you go under the first one, water and sewer service connection fees. So I have it under this document here. That shows you at the top the $80 service application fee to start. Currently, it was 0. And then we work our way down. When you tap a water main, there's an entrance fee to the system, and that's based on the ratepayers improving the system over a period of years. This money goes towards debt service, any type of operational costs in the department. So if you look under the water, domestic/fire connection fees, the first one in line is $500 for a reconnection to an existing tap. So if the building was caught on fire, it was vacant for multiple years, they want to reconnect to that service, we're charging $500. That's application fee, site visit, make a new tie card for that. And then as you go down, we're gonna go for a 1-inch copper, it's $1,000. And it goes all the way down to 12-inch, which would be like ductile iron. That's a commercial pipe. That's a $4,800 charge to tie in. So if you look at the sewer, it's the same reconnection. So that's a $500 charge for the inspection and to reconnect to the sewer system. And then we don't typically have any connections to sewer that are less than 6 inches, so we start at $2,400 and we go to $4,800 for the 12-inch connections. You typically wouldn't see like a 12-inch connection on the sewer just because that's basically a sewer main, so it's not gonna be like a service. So these higher prices are more for like industrial than when they're redeveloping, that type of thing. These services here, based on, we did 49 tie-ins last year, that's gonna give us an additional $50,750 in revenue if we were charging these prices last year.
Councilors, any questions in regard to this?
Council President,
Councilor Luzon?
so just for the record, not all the fees are new chargers. So there's one new permit there. They're not
It's being
all
updated.
updated. They're not updated. Thank you, Council President. So there's a new charge in the list.
Yeah, there is new charges on the list,
One.
and the other two sheets, that's including the connection fees for the water and sewer, which is at $500 for the reconnection and $1,000 for the connection. That's mostly for
Yeah,
the residential.
We used to be $75 per inch diameter to tie in, and then we upped the charges to reflect the current systems. The way the system is now, and just roughly, I did a comparison, so if you were to tie in a 1-inch copper and a 6-inch sewer, which would basically be for like a single-family home, we would charge $3,400. If you went to Haverhill, it would be $4,920, and if you went to Methuen, it would be $4,548.
Councilors, any questions in regard to this? Essentially, I just want to make sure that we bring everything up to the table. And I want to, since we are adding these fees, councilors, I think that we should, at some point, develop some type of resource that in case an emergency happen, or in case that there is a circumstances that it's definitely affecting a member of the community, that we have a way to somehow waive those fees. And if we actually agree upon, what we can have is somebody that have a truly emergency, they can come in front of the council and do the petition, but we have to have that on writing. We have to have it there as part of the notice. If you're looking for waiver for these fees, the city council have to approve it and the mayor need to sign it.
Council
If it is a
President.
truly emergency, then that person come in front of us and perhaps do the petition. How we can get to that point? If it is a fire that they need to reconnect, or there is an emergency, or there is a situation perhaps, I just have a situation that somebody called me from South, and they have to do a new service that they were not aware of. If they do that service, they're gonna have to pay into a fee that they were not looking for it, perhaps, and you're very aware of that situation. I just want to make sure, like, if we have something that it could be waived, that we can discuss it at this point. I'm very in favor of what we propose, what is being proposed in front of us, but we have to have a way to also reconvene at some point if it is an emergency that we truly believe is an emergency. We can also add that this fee could be waived with the supermajority vote of the council, 6 out of 9. So I just want to have something there, if you guys agree with me, that we can at some point decide to waive it if we have to, for an extreme circumstances.
Council President.
Council Vice President Infante.
Thank you. Quick comment on your suggestion. What I foresee with that, I understand that there's some major emergencies that occur, and there could be some exception to the rules. But what I foresee is that being taken advantage of. I also foresee every 2 years this council changes. Sometimes the majority can be on one side, the other side, or whatever the case may be. And if it's someone that's friendly with the majority of the councilors or with any current administration that's overseeing the city, that could not be a good thing for waivers. So I just want to keep that in mind, and perhaps with the 6th vote or something like that, we can remedy that, but I do want to say this publicly so
Yeah.
everyone can be
No,
on the same page.
and I definitely understand what you're coming from, but we also need to understand that when we're creating a policy, it's not necessarily for who is in government. It's for unforeseen future that something like that might happen. When it comes to the sewer, I have a situation that that family need to reconnect to the sewer. They own the sewer, and it was a challenge for them because they need to come up with almost $10,000. Having those type of emergencies is like what I'm seeing. Like, it should be a way for those people, not necessarily to leave it up to the administration, because it could be something that is a challenge for them. But if they petition in front of us and come in front of us for something like that, at least the city council have a say. And what I'm saying, I'm suggesting that maybe a supermajority vote of the council might have that suggestion. I just say, something on writing now will save a long conversation down the road, if the council decide. That's totally up to you.
Council President?
Yes.
Thank you. I 100% agree with you in terms of extreme emergencies, and I do think we should have that in writing, but we also need to think about all the other possibilities that can happen with this. I just wanted to make sure that was out in the open, but I 100% understand and agree with that example that you just provided for that family, so.
Councilors, up to you to the side. Councilor Levy? Councilor?
Council President,
Yes,
so who would establish as to what these exigent circumstances would be? Because that needs to be documented as to, what would be considered an emergency. And these individuals that are coming before us, are they going to supply the counselors with supporting documentation? And then who would establish what these circumstances are?
Based on my experience with different cases, extreme cases, we just have one case that is going to be, it's going to be extreme, that we're dealing with it right now. They currently in court. So for the same situation, if a service need to happen, I mean, I don't think it will be fair for the new owner to come up with the money for the connection. But those are the type of accession. Obviously, that documentation have to be provided to the council. It's going to be up to the council to decide. It could be that I have seen 2, 3 over my 10 years of experience here. But those are 2, 3 experience that I have, and those are things that might happen in the future. But it's up to the councilors. I mean, at this point, I don't want to hold up the conversation any longer. If you guys decide to have something on writing that the city council might waive those fees for any emergency circumstances, we can have it on writing. If it's not, we can move forward.
Council President,
Councilor
I
Song?
think your intentions are great, but unfortunately, I have to agree with Councilor Infante. We may be opening the door for others that are not necessarily in an emergency. So I think we should vote for what is in front of us and maybe have this conversation in the future. I admire your good intention, but unfortunately, I think that now we should vote for what we have in front of us.
Right. Any
Any
other councilors? All right, at this point, I call the question as is. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any noes? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Um,
I also have, I think, one more.
Council President.
Madam Chair from the Budget and Finance Committee?
Council, the next item from the Budget and Finance Committee is item 389-24, payment of prior year invoices in the amount of $3,377.61 from Milton Cat. And this was brought up to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Any question? And that's you putting that as a form of a motion?
I make that as a form of motion.
There is a motion on the table, properly second discussion. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 390-24.
Item 390-24, authorization to expend grant funds in the amount of $2 million from the Congresswoman Trahan's Community Project funding for the Mario,
Thank
I mispronounced this again. Lucchesi Memorial Bridge was brought to the full council with a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
Second.
No, that's the one after. Over the tree. All right, can I hear a second? Second. Properly second, discussion.
Council President,
Councilor Son.
in our meeting, we asked if the DPW department had a plan for the businesses surrounding or around the bridge. And we asked for an update from DPW.
All right, there is any update from the DPW?
Yes, good evening, honorable councilors. In fact, I brought, we have a traffic plan for during construction of the Lucchesi Bridge, and I would like to handle this construction plan and a copy of the construction notifications that we generally distribute to residents and businesses. And sometimes, since construction sometimes is, the future is just unforeseeable because there's rain, there's weather conditions that doesn't permit that we do what we need to do, on a certain time. And then we are getting better on the construction notifications, especially under this administration. And the DPW director is really on it all the time. So this is a thing that we really do. So the bridge during construction won't be closed completely. It will be closed like, it's just a renovation of a bridge. It's not a demolition of the whole bridge. The only demolition that we will see is on the sidewalk part of it, and then there will be a reinforcement of that with new rebars and bigger rebars. And the project is subdivided in 3 stages. So the first stages will be to repair the sidewalk, and then for that, 1 lane of the bridge will be closed. So we won't be closing the dock bridge. And and then the traffic will be diverted to Island Street and then going down to Canal Street, coming from the south part. And then going to the south, there will always will be a way to go to the south to that bridge. And then we would like to actually handle this.
It's right in front of Yapu.
Yeah, right in front of you.
And sample
So it's
of
over
the
the canal.
construction notifications that we generally do.
Council President.
So the bridge will be closed, completely closed only for a weekend. Just for a weekend. 1 weekend, Friday, 5 o'clock till Monday, 5 a.m. So that's the only time that the bridge is going to be closed. And that's because we need to repair some part of the deck and to do the repaving of the bridge. And then the other stage is just the barrier construction, what you call the railers, the rail part of it, the barriers, and that's going to be it. So the total timeline for this project would be 2 months for stage 1, and then 2 more months for stage 2. And actually the weekend that the bridge is going to be closed. So we are talking about 4 months and 1 weekend. If you have any questions, please.
Councilor Vice President Infante.
Thank you. My question was answered.
All right, councilors, any questions in regard to this specific item? I hear none. At this point, I'll call the questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you, the administration, and thank you, the U.S. Representative Lori Trahan and Lily for all the effort and work that you guys have done to get this bridge that it was in so much need of repair, to get it done. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item from the Budget and Finance Committee, item 39124.
Item 391-24, the authorization to expend grant funds in the amount of $100,000 from the Massachusetts Broadband Institute for Digital Equity Implementation Plan was sent with a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
There's a motion on the table, properly second discussion. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 39224, Madam Vice President Infante. Sí, diga.
Item 392-24, authorization to expend grant funds in the amount of $8,146.64 from the Massachusetts DPE's Recycling Dividends Program was sent with a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
Second.
There is a motion on the table, just for the record, can I hear a second? Oh, properly second. Just for the record, Councilor De Rosario have recused himself for this item due to a conflict of interest. Councilors, any questions in regard to this item? I hear none, so at this point, I call the questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item, Madam Vice President Infante, item 393-24.
Item 393-24, authorization to expend grant funds in the amount of $139,805 from the Massachusetts Department of Public Health for Massachusetts in Motion, Active Transportation, Safe Routes to School, and Parks and Open Spaces was sent up with a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
There's a motion on the table,
Second.
properly second, discussion. I hear none. At this point, I call the questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. Item 394-24, Madam Vice President Infante.
Item 394-24, authorizations to expend funds in the amount of $286,000 for the MVPC EPA revolving loan fund to demolish the Florence Street garage that is city-owned was sent up as a committee report pending additional information on the contaminants of that area. And I make that as a formal motion.
There is a motion to accept the
Second.
committee report, councilors. Properly second, just on the committee report. Any questions?
Discussion.
Discussion.
Discussion, Madam Vice President Infante.
Thank you. We did request additional information on this item. Do we have?
I have a package.
Good evening, Octavian Spanner, advisor to the mayor. Council President, all the information that we had was provided through you through the city clerk. It includes what I mentioned during the Budget and Finance Committee, that you have the work plan, the scope of service, everything is included within the documentation, and it was provided.
Council
Do you have any
President.
questions?
Sure. Councilor Luzon.
I thought that we were going to be able to speak with Dan McCarthy.
Councilor Luzon, Dan McCarthy reclused himself. He's sick today. He wasn't able to be here.
Yeah, very sick.
He's very sick, actually. But if you have any questions, I mean,
Yes, we do.
we have that Mr. Spanish here that he can answer. If he's not, and then we can seek for other opinion.
Thank you, Council President. So can the senior advisor go over of, and I know you sent this, I just received this package. Can you explain to what exactly we have in that field? What exactly we have there? Am I understanding this is asbestos and yes, and lead? So besides that, what do we have in the field that has to be cleaned?
Okay, it's not only the field, but also the building that needs to be demolished. To my understanding, there are barrels. I'm not quite sure if they contain petroleum. And they have tires on the premise that needs to be disposed of. And that's also considered like hazardous material, because there's special ways to dispose of tires.
And on top of that, Francis Cirillo, Economic Development Director, City of Lawrence. So we're mediation right now. We're talking about demolishing the building. You're correct with the asbestos, the tires, as well as tubes, pipes, and everything that held previous oils. Once the building is demolished, then we could go in to do testing to see what else, any other contaminants that are within the soil itself.
Furthermore, Counselor, and not to go into much details because that's not our level of expertise, but it's within the document. As I mentioned during the Budget and Finance Committee, the state requires a remediation plan, which was also submitted in the documentation, because when it comes to hazardous material, that's a requirement by the state to make sure that the property is properly contained and the hazardous materials are disposed according to the law.
So the bid that we saw in the last meeting is just for, and I'm asking questions that I received. So the bid that we saw on the Budget and Finance meeting was for the demolition,
Correct.
correct? And what was the amount? Council President, can you let them respond to my question, please?
No, but
Thank you,
Council
Council
Luzon, Council Luzon,
President.
excuse me.
Council
Council
President,
Luzon.
I have the floor.
Nope.
I have the floor.
I have the
I
gavel.
have the floor,
I have the
Council
gavel.
President.
You don't have the floor now.
I have the floor.
You don't have the floor now. I have the gavel. I'm responding the questions to you
I'm not
because,
asking you, Council President. I'm not asking you.
excuse me, you might continue. You don't have the floor now, Council Luzon.
280,000, correct?
286,000.
286,000. And you're correct, Councilor Luzon, this is for the demolition.
Through me, please.
Oh, sorry, Council President.
Thank you.
And through you,
Wendy,
Council
relax. I
President.
will give it to you.
And through you, Council
Relax.
President. It is for this, what we're coming for is the demolition of the building. Not for anything else at this point.
Council President, can I ask another question?
Give me 1 second, Council Luzon. Any other information before I release the floor?
So one of the hazard investigations show polycycle aromatic hydrocarbons, lead detection in the soil. So
Can you repeat that information again?
That's gonna be on the mouth.
Slowly.
Oil, acidic, aromatic, hydrocarbons, lead detection in soil, and volatile petroleum. So these are stuff that's in this building as well. So we haven't gotten to the actual what's in the soil, because in order to get to what's in the soil, the first pace is to demolish the building. Then we have to do the testing. Then from the testing is where we could start doing the remediation, once we know what level of contaminants are in the soil, what needs to be removed from the site, or what could be capped.
All right. Councilor Luzon, you have the floor.
Thank you, Council President. So walk me through the loan that you are presenting. In the meeting, I think we asked if what portion of this loan is supposed to be paid by the city. And then they mentioned it's a grant, so we are kind of confused. So if you can walk me, explain this loan, please.
So this isn't a loan, this is a grant. And
All right.
So in the, Council President?
Council President,
On the application, can you read the item for me, please?
I don't have it with me.
You don't have the item?
No.
Can you provide them the agenda? Yeah, just read it as a
Okay.
chair.
So the item is item 394-24, authorizations to expend funds in the amount of $286,000 from the MVPC EPA revolving loan fund, not grant fund, loan. So there's a mix-up if it is.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have those documentation with me.
Okay, that was one of the question we asked in the Budget and Finance meeting. To you, Council President, that's why we're asking again, because you refer guys refer to this, the item as a loan, and then as a grant. So we are kind of confused. We understand the need for the city to clean this site after the demolition takes place, but we also, I'm concerned about the amount of money that the city has to pay. Because it looks like it's a loan, a combination, from my understanding, it's a combination of the loan and a grant. So I think we need clarification there.
Councilor Lozano. Councilor Lozano. I know.
Thank you,
Refer to
Council
that.
President. We have that, but it looks like that this is a combination of both. I understand that you may not have all the information. That's why I asked for McCarthy. That's why we asked for him to be present.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's not here. And my understanding also that you have a deadline for this. Is that correct?
Yeah, but if we table it now, it just sets the project back 2 weeks.
Yeah, we are, I know that we would love to have this site clean. It's an issue for the neighborhood, for the community, but also we want to know in reality what will be the commitment for the city if the city council approves this combination of loan and a grant. It looks like that you don't have information for
I do not
us.
have that information with me, Council President and City Councilors, and I have no problem bringing that back before the City Council, making sure that you guys are all emailed on the response.
Sorry for the
Mr.
interruption,
Spanish.
Director. At this point, whether it's a loan and there's a condition of the contract provided to you as well that stipulates the condition. When it's a revolving loan fund, it is provided with probably low interest in terms of executing the project, and in this case is a brownfield. Any expenses incurred by the city would be added in the disposition of the property. The property would be assessed, and if it needs to be sold, it would be sold with both the expenses that has been acquired by the city to clean up the property. So the city would get its money back.
Council President,
Councilor Luzon.
just for the record, Senior Advisor, can we sell the property as it is, or is it illegal to sell a property with contamination?
Well, the answer is yes. You can sell the property as is, bid it out, and let the owners clean it. But that's a risk to the community. If it's a city property, it is the responsibility of the city to basically clean it and make sure that there's no spill and it's done correctly.
Madam Clerk, Madam Vice President Infante, can you look at page number 2 of the agreement, very quick?
So, President?
Yep.
Council President, do I have, may I
So
speak?
just to clarify a few questions that we have, I have the same question, so on page 2, there is some clarity that we can read for the record. Yeah, it's the rest, the reminding is here. Yeah.
Okay, page 2, subsection 1. Lender agrees to loan to borrower the sum of $185,000 from BF-00A00246-0 to be used by the borrower for the property remediation work subject to the terms and conditions herein. Subsection 2, grantor agrees to grant the sub-grantee the sum not to exceed $101,000 from BF-00A 00246-0 to be used by the sub-grantee for the remediation work, in parentheses, the project grant funds, subject to the terms and conditions herein. So for
And then, so,
my
in subsection 4, section B, 4B,
subsection 4,
and then B.
4B, the loan shall accrue interest at a rate of 3% per annum occurred monthly after 2 years of issuance of the first loan drawdown.
So it is clear that we have a loan of $185,000, and then the grantor, it's going to be for that total, it's going to grant the city $101,000 with a 3% annual interest rate.
Correct.
That's what we have, councilors. So we have a grant of not exceeding $101,000, and a loan for the amount of $185,000 at 3 annual percentage. Councilors, any questions?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago.
How much this cost the property right now?
The property right now contaminated, maybe worth nothing. We haven't done the appraisal. We'll do the appraisal after the cleanup of the property. If we do an appraisal now, the place is contaminated, so the value must be very low.
How much after that?
It depends on the expenses, and we need to appraise the property before disposing of the property.
I would like to approximately.
No, but now we cannot appraise the property because then we're gonna do it twice. We appraise it before, we can see how much it's appraised, the city has appraised it, but in reality, after the cleanup is where we need to appraise the property because then the value is higher. And usually, it is market, it should be market rate.
Mr. President?
Councilor Santiago.
Yes. And I would like to know who made the decision, who made the diagnosis? Who
Yeah.
made the decision if it's contaminated or not? And another question is about, in the lot, is just this property is contaminated? Or there are some more property?
Yes, there are a series of properties that we have a list. I think it's through the Department of OPD, Office of Planning and Development, that they have a list of all the brownfields. That's the term that we use. So contaminated sites that needs to be cleaned. This is one of them that has been contaminated for quite some time. And then who determines? It goes by staff recommendation. EPA gets involved, looks at a site. They have DEP that also is involved, and they do their assessment, and they give the information back to us as part of the city. And then we go for the money, whether through grant or through a revolving loan fund.
Yes, but I refer in this lot specific, because that one is 9 and 11 floorings, but I would like to know if around the 9 or 11, if there are some another place over there contaminated as well.
Well, in the back there,
If
at
they did
least
a test just for the city property,
just for the city properties, yes.
for the,
Yeah, we don't deal with, as a municipality, we don't deal with private properties. We only deal with city-owned or city-controlled properties, yes.
if it is really contaminated like that, I don't know why they don't put it, the material around dangerous or say, I didn't see any
Fencing?
any fencing and any advice, any name about don't touch, don't go, don't cross the way, nothing about safety.
Well, the property has an X on the building, indicating that it's a contaminated site,
Council President.
and it's a danger to the public.
That's it.
Good. Any other councilors?
President?
Councilor Vice President Infante.
Thank you. I actually, through you, Council President, just for the record, I confirmed with a fighter what that signage means, and it's actually a signage for our firefighters. If there is a fire, they cannot go into that building because it's a danger. They could only go into an unsafe building if there is a life that they need to save. So that is what the X signage stands for, and I did confirm this with a firefighter to ensure that I was educated on the signages. Thank you, Council
About
President.
contamination.
Sorry, yes,
Sign about
that's part
contamination.
of the danger as well. That's part of the danger.
Councilor District D.
So one of my questions was, and Councilor Santiago asked it, it was in regards to if the city had a list of other city-owned properties that are considered contaminant, which you just said yes. Do you roughly know how many, and how does the city determine which property?
So, and I can tell you the street names as well.
Give me 1 second so I can
Wait,
finish my thought.
She haven't finished
How
yet.
does the city make a determination as to which property is going to be the one to be addressed? Is it a list based on priority, based on the level of contamination, or is it based on the history of the length of time that it has been discovered of it being contaminated?
So we have several sites in the city that are contaminated, and so you got Florence Place, Bennington Triangle, Merrimack Paper site, Tomborello, Holly Street. So these are sites that are heavily contaminated. So you're looking at what the level of contamination, what the testing has been done by EPA and DEP, and how we can better move those those sites for remediation. So it's a lengthy process.
Okay, but the question is,
Also,
but the question was, oh, you're gonna answer it?
Go ahead.
The second part of that question was, how does the city make the determination as to which property you're going to address and decide to demolish based on the list that you just provided?
So one is done through the Office of the Planning Director, as well as DEP and APA, and we look at how we could remediate the properties quickly, and what kind of funding we could get for each particular property. So right now, what is on the list is we did Merrimack Paper where we demolished, and we're looking at still characterization of that site. Bennington Triangle's next on the list, as well as Florence Place.
and also Councilor Marmol, one of the level of contaminants that the DEP and the state look at is the previous use of the property. If the previous use of the property represent a larger contamination for the area, they probably have other source of funds to mitigate those ones first. So what the city do and identify is those ones that have that level of contamination and prioritize around that as well. So far, while I'm being here, we have invested, all the state and the federal government have invested a lot of money at the Tomborello site and at the paper mill based on the previous use. At the Tomborello site, there used to be a metalera there. So, Councilor De Rosario.
Thank you, through you, Council President. And how long has this been contaminated or abandoned? Because it's completely abandoned. A couple of years ago, I went on a walk around that area. We went to walk around that area. That's when the fire chief he advised that building needed to be demolished. So how long has it been contaminated and abandoned like that?
Over a decade.
Thank you.
Council President.
Councilor, any other councilors before I go to the second round?
Just a comment, Council President.
Councilor Levy?
Yes, I just read in the report that you submitted in here, that one of the contamination is that there are some oil tanks right in there. that has to be removed from the soil. That is a very, very long time it's been in there because of the use of the land that they had, I think so it was,
A garage.
yes, just for, let you know.
So we don't know what kind of oil is still in the tanks, or if there's, and through you, Council President, if there's any leaks in those tanks, and if the oil has leaked into the soil.
Yes, so we don't even know what is in there at this point. Thank you.
Councilor Vice President Infante?
Thank you. Quick question. These 4 packets that were submitted, the additional information that we asked for, I would like to know why these 4 packets were submitted today at 4:27 PM, same day, not giving us enough time to review these.
Council President.
That was a great question.
Yeah, through, Council Vice, through the President, Vice Chair, the answer is that when this item came before the Budget and Finance Committee, staff was on vacation then, and that's why Kenny, when he came before you, didn't have all the answers. Dan McCarthy came back and was sick at home. He came to the office today, and I requested him to submit the documentation to the city clerk. So,
Thank you.
unfortunate circumstance that it happens usually during summertime.
Thank you.
Council of District Deed, Vivian Mamo?
Is there a reason why it has been identified over a decade ago that this has been contaminated and we are just, it's coming before the council now?
I think through you, Council President, I think you have a proactive administration that's working on this. I had the same questions with contaminated sites. It requires money. The city didn't have a grant writer. The city was not proactive back then because there's many other projects like this that we're pursuing funding for. And I think not recently, as you know, we also received $1 million from Congresswoman Lori Trahan, who's coming soon, to also look at some of these sites. Yeah, this one in particular.
Council President.
Councilor Luzon?
Thank you, Council President.
Your mic, Councilor Luzon.
Oh, yes, thank you. I don't know if the senior, thank you, Council President, through you, Council President. I don't know if the senior advisor recall that he mentioned in the Budget and Finance meeting that this could be, he mentioned that the property could be sold for $286,000. You mentioned that in the Budget and Finance meeting. Do you recall that?
I gave that as
an estimate,
but the actual, we need to appraise the property.
After you, Council President, so you mentioned that amount after cleaning the property?
Well, after cleaning the property, we need to, it depends on the market. Like those that are familiar with real estate, and maybe you do know better than I do, you have a property that you might think that is, it's worth $286,000, but when it's appraised, it's going to be just worth, depending on the contingent upon how the market is, it may be $100,000. So we need to appraise the property, following the process to have an appraisal identify how much we can sell the property for and the use.
Thank you. Through you, Council President, we also asked if there was any, and I think you mentioned now that the administration is actively working in places that perhaps other administration didn't pay much attention. But you mentioned, so it looks like that this administration is looking into a bigger project in that area, because my understanding is that other properties next to this belong to the city. So we have 2 lots here that actually belong to the same owner. And then in the middle, and after that, privately owned, you have all the properties, all the lots, they belong to the city, but they are now leased to mechanics and other businesses. And I'm not familiar, I know there's mechanics there. So all those properties, one next to the other, they belong to the city. So it looks like that the city, your department, is looking into a bigger project. Is that accurate?
I mean, obviously, is what is going to add value to the property. It's and correct me if I'm wrong, it's a I2, it's zone I2, so it's an industrial. And consider any activities that falls under that category is welcome. It's contingent upon, you know, the RFP process, proposals that are submitted.
Through you, Council President. I just love when we ask questions and we are giving, Council President, do I have the floor?
Sure.
Thank you, Council President. I love when we ask questions and you choose to give us the walk around. 'Cause it will be nice to hear that, yes, the city has a potential project there, and in order to move on, we would like to see this property clean. Because yes, we want to work with you, advisor, senior advisor. But I would love to hear that, yes, it's accurate. The city has bigger plans for this lots located in Florence Street. Thank you.
Any other councilors? I'll release the floor to the Vice President, so I have a few questions. Madam Vice
Council
President
President
Infante.
Rodriguez.
Thank you. So I have a few questions, Madam Vice President, about the report that we received. First of all, the report, I think that we should get the report before, as Councilor Vice President stated, so we can go through. But, I mean, to me, if we have, since I have read the report, I didn't know how many contaminants there were before. But now that I have the report, I was reading through and I find that it was a quite significant amount of contaminants around the area.
Yeah, Council President, I will repeat our apologies for that. Unfortunately, Dan McCarthy was the custodian of the information at the time of the Budget and Finance Committee. He was not here, and I apologize again, but unfortunately, that was the case.
All right. The first thing that I would like to ask is to provide this to us in digital so we can have it, not on paper necessarily, but if you can send it to us tomorrow on digital, that would be great. So the first question that I have is like, based on experience that I have on other projects that I have different contaminants, the first thing we establish a contract with as a city, it should be a licensed site professional, LSP. An LSP, do we have an LSP that is going to represent the city when it comes to the removal and the abatement of all those contaminants?
I believe, and I'm not quite sure, but under this case, it's the contractor needs to provide the LSP for managing this project as part of the requirement.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not going to represent the city, though.
Yeah, but we do have DEP, which is a state agency that was going to be involved in monitoring the progress of the project.
Yeah, but they also don't represent the city. So I think that, I mean, that I'm telling you because I've been going through the same issue on my job, and the agency is not going to represent the city or any state agency as well. The agency want to make sure that each other agency have the LSP so they can speak about the same language around this, around that. And the LSP is gonna be the professional that actually gonna check and make sure that the city is represented for the best interest. If you don't have that information, that's fine, we probably have it. We probably have an LSP, but I mean.
Yes, the name is Adam Roy from the Novus Group.
So Novice, this group, they're gonna
Yes.
represent the city?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and do we have, so basically I'm assuming that they have a plan to monitor the air, the existing condition, and also while the project is going?
Yes.
Can we have that on writing? Because I don't know, probably it's here, but can they point it out where that's gonna be on writing?
Yes, as a body, you guys can add it into your decision resolution tonight, and submit it, that it would be part of the condition.
No, I mean, I'm assuming that they have, because the abatement process is quite extensive. It's not
very
just.
extensive. It requires a work plan. It requires a project manager that works on it. Obviously, DEP, and remember, we do have a working relationship with DEP and EPA, and they are monitoring most of the project, all of the projects that we have that are funded with federal or state dollars.
So we have in front of us, I mean, is the city agree upon getting this loan and potentially getting all the loans at 3% interest to keep on doing the mitigation for this in the near future? Because this might be the beginning of the mitigation.
There might be a beginning, and we are not sure, but at least we need to start the work, because if we have barrels or contamination on the site, we don't want percolation. So you don't want like you said, we want to mitigate it as soon as possible, because it has been there for a while. We don't know the containers that are what they contain, or the levels, or if there's any leakage. So we need to make sure that we start. Otherwise, this place is going to be contaminated for additional years.
So, because what I have seen is that we doing because since we're not clear with the plan that we have around the contamination and the mitigation and the abatement of all those contaminants before we do the demo, we jumping into the demo, but I'm assuming that it's going to be a lot of mitigation before we do the demo. And we don't have that information.
Yeah.
And for the best interest of the people around there, which is the district that I used to represent, and Vivian, Councilor Marmo now represent, is like for the best interest of those people living around there, that will be a good information to have to make sure that they are safe.
The best answer, Council President, and a good example I can give you is both the Tamburello site as well as the paper mill project. The project started, but they didn't know all the contamination that there was.
Yeah,
And
but
as
remember.
you progress in the demolition process, because those are questions that we have also asked during the previous projects, it depends. When you start cleanup, then you would identify probably there may or may not be any additional contamination on the site.
Yeah,
So-
but I mean, the problem here is that we have a dense area around this site, and the other two don't have anything around, basically.
I can assure you that DEP, as you know, is not going to let any project happens that is going to affect the neighborhood. They're involved in the process, like I mentioned before. And if they see any, and there's the reason why I mentioned during the Budget and Finance Committee, and you have seen it, there's a work plan. And the work plan needs to be accurate, because exactly based on the arguments that you're making, is within a dense neighborhood, and like the Vice President also mentioned, that if it's endangering the lives of our emergency workers, imagine the neighborhood, because there's residential properties abutting the property.
Just to finalize my comments, I think that the council and the administration around these items need to reconvene before the project start, not necessarily at this level, but to make sure that all the steps are scheduled and make sure that we take every step before we put a foot on the project to do any type of demo, because right now we are authorizing the funds, but when it comes to the day-to-day operation of the project and the management of the project, it's going to be on the administration, not necessarily on the council. But we want to make sure like everything is on the right step before we do any type of mitigation around there that could become a bigger issue.
Council President, if you wish, you can table this item. We can bring DEP, we can bring EPA here, we can bring the experts on this. These are technical terms that probably you and I, and probably you more than I, because you're mostly familiar with this, and other councilors. But if that's what you wish, we don't have a problem.
At this point,
administration would be happy to bring and clarify all the questions that you may need.
At this point, I will leave it up to the council to make sure that at least we have what we need. And if the council decide to move forward, I also agree with that. But I think that for the best interest of the community, especially that dense area around there, that we should have that every step and a good schedule as to how we're going to proceed.
Council President, we are happy moving forward with all the projects that we have in the city, that we can be consistent and do the same thing. We will bring all the experts before you, and then that you can ask your question.
Thank you. Councilors, any other questions or comments?
No.
Councilor Levy.
Yes, I just hear that it's a deadline for this project to start it, when it is.
I don't know the specific deadline for it.
No, it's,
Council,
yeah,
I believe you just said that it would be 2 weeks behind schedule if we
table it,
this
we'd
is
be
just
2
a
weeks behind
supplementary
schedule,
request.
but
It is not an underlying motion.
we
But
have to
still
table it, we
doable.
have to table it, that would make sure that we clear it before coming here. Which is why I didn't have the stuff, because I've assumed that we're going to table it. But into Advisor Spanner's thing, I would have had the, some of the environmental experts here to answer any other questions that you had. If
Great.
necessary, so we could also bring them next council meeting, if the city council decides to table.
Thank you. Councilor Levy, any further questions?
Yes, so everything also depends on how the weather, no, because for excavation, it's a day that we cannot do more excavation.
Yeah, to the winter time.
Okay. Because before the soil
Freezes.
Yeah.
March.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Madam
And
Vice Chair.
Councilor Luzon.
So it looks like the department had a meeting on March 19, about this project at I think it was at the library. I'm not, don't look at me with that face, because I have information in front of me.
Yeah,
So I'm
they
not
have
looking
a-
at you in the face because my
Yes, you
department-
did.
I wasn't there, so I couldn't
Okay,
verify
well,
that question. But
yes,
you are
so
right.
there's a package from, Madam Chair, my apologies. But there's a package, and through you, there's a package with information about the project that I can share with all the councilors and with you about the Florence project. And in front of the package, there's a day, it's March, the day that I just mentioned, of this year. So why was that? Why are we getting this information this late, Senior Advisor?
Yeah. Through you, Council President.
Senior Advisor, I have the gavel, so it's through me.
Sorry.
Thank you.
I'm not familiar with any meeting that took place. To dispose of a property, you need to, first of all, clean the property, identify the contaminants, clean the property, and dispose of the property through an RFP process. We have our city attorney, I think he's here. And well, I will invite him to the city attorney to explain that process. So whatever meeting
But that was not a discussion.
prior on the 19th, or it's not to my knowledge.
Madam Chair, may I?
You still have the floor. sir.
Yes, oh, thank you for letting, yes, thank you. So, yes, there was a meeting, and there's a package with information, and my understanding that only one person attended the meeting. No one from the city was there, and they were supposed to be there. And don't get yourself into more trouble, senior advisor. My suggestion is to talk to the person in charge in community development, because it happened. It doesn't mean, Madam Chair, that he needed to be present. The meeting happened, only one person attended, and no officials from the city were there.
Was it, I don't know what the
not no,
city councilor is saying, I'm just to clarify, because you're putting information out there that for the administration is very important. So I want to know now, if you can provide it, I mean, not, you want to give it to the administration tomorrow, you give it to us? I want to know what.
These guys.
So this is what we're going to do.
And send the information to the administration.
Senior advisor.
For the mayor's knowledge.
So this is what we're going to do. There's already consensus around the city council that we do wish to table this. Councilor Luzon, can you send those documents to all city council members, including the administration, the senior advisors, the city attorney, the mayor, and the mayor's chief of staff? At this point, we're gonna go straight into voting to accept it as a committee report. Can all those in favor say aye? Aye. Any noes? The ayes have it. And at this point, I'll entertain a motion to table.
Motion to table?
Motion made by, well, I saw Councilor Del Rosario first, seconded by Councilor Marmol. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the ayes have it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Motion has been properly tabled. Now we continue with the agenda. Committee report, nothing from Housing. Ordinance Committee, Madam Vice Chair. From the Ordinance Committee, Councilor Reyes.
Through you, Councilor President, Ordinance Committee, 322-24, Chico Summer Shut Up, August 22, 2024, O'Neill Park, SPE 24000046 by Nilsa Caraballo. Favor recommendation pending the availability of O'Neill Park, but we received from Recreation Department, everything is offset. So it's a formal motion.
Second.
There is a motion on the table to accept, to approve item 32224. Properly second discussion. This shout out or event is going to be to distribute a backpack to the community. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Any nays? The ayes have it. Item 37424, Madam Vice Chair, from the Ordinance Committee.
Amend non-union classification plan, Director of Project Manager and Development, by Octavian Espaniel, Senior Advisor to the Mayor, Brian R. De Peña. We sending with favor recommendation, pending with the compensation information.
All right, there is an item in front of us, which is item 37424, the amendment on non-union classification, the Director of Project Management and Development. Any clarity on this?
Council President.
Councilor Vice President Infante.
Thank you. From the documents that I'm seeing from the meeting of the Ordinance Committee, there's a summary that is titled.
Before we go that way, do you have a motion? That you make that as a form of a motion?
Sorry.
Can you hear a second? Properly second discussion, Councilor Infante.
Thank you. My apologies. I thought it was
No, no,
already
that's fine.
already motioned. From my understanding, we've already increase the salary for this, this is how my brain is processing it. It's just a title change. The way that I'm processing is that there isn't going to be a change in salary. We've already amended the salary when we approved the city budget. There is nothing else for this position, and I just want clarification.
We have the director, the personnel director here, that he might be able to provide us some clarity on this.
This particular item, I don't have too much background on, but my understanding is that the question is about determining the salary. The position has already been created, and in terms of determining the salary, the way that would work is that there's a non-union classification plan which lists all positions that are non-union. Excuse me. Good evening, Mr. President. Thank you. Good evening, Mr. President. Michael Owens, Personnel Director of the City of Lawrence. As I was saying, I don't have too much particulars on this position or this item, but my understanding is the question is that we have to determine the salary for the position. And the way that would work is there is a non-union classification plan in the city, which is in the ordinance. That is for all positions that are non-union. It lists the position, and there is a particular grade that is assigned to that position that would determine the salary.
Okay.
In order to update, in order to, when a position is created that is non-union, we would have to amend that non-union classification plan to add that position to that non-union classification plan.
All right. All right. Let's go back, because it happened to be that I was here that day. The grant writer position is the name, the title is being changed to an administrator. Let's start from there, because I mean that's what happened at the ordinance committee. So once that happened, also duties change and responsibilities change together with the title. Is that, can you go back on that, because that was essentially the discussion?
Yes, I explained it during the budget, during the ordinance committee, that this is position is under per the request of the mayor. The justification or the background is this: we have so many grants that are coming to the city, but it requires not only a grant writer to write the grants, or for the departments to be directly involved, in addition to coordination, but also to manage these projects, to ensure that we do not lose funds. Some departments are overwhelmed, and there's no sharing of information. So let's say tomorrow, in the case which has happened, the mayor wants to know how many grants we have. There's no specific answer, or, oh, there's a grant that we have, just like the case like tonight that we're talking about, the Brownfields grant. But if you have someone who's not only responsible of submitting the grants for the city, but also manages these projects, it takes away certain responsibilities or alleviates the responsibilities and better coordination by one person. One focal point in the city that will make sure that what grants are necessary for us to apply, is there matching funds? Once we receive the funds, what are the requirements? What are the deadlines? And also to ensure that these projects are executed on a timely manner.
So that's the chart that it was presented at the Budget and Finance Committee?
Correct.
At the Ordinance Committee?
Yes.
Well, councilors, if we look at the chart and the organization matrix that is here, To me, this is not a title change. This is a department. Because we're reorganizing everything around the position. So we have the director of the director of project management and development, and then we have all the departments around that now is going to have to, when it comes to grants, you're going to have to speak with this person.
No, it's not a department. Is the flow, is the communication from, as you look at the flow chart, all departments respond and provides information to the project management and development person. Right now, that's not how it's working.
I'm not saying that this is wrong. I'm saying that probably this is not the right way to do it. Because you have the grant writer and you want to have that person going into this position when he's going to have a change on duties and responsibilities, and therefore this is a new position. And if it is a new position, it should be published, posted, interview, and hire. That's the process. Not just changing titles and be able to transfer from one side to another side and changing salaries. Everything that we mentioned here, duties, responsibilities, changing on title and changing on salaries, those are typical characteristics of a new position.
But we don't want to create a new position, Council President.
But you are creating a new position because you're changing the title, you're changing the responsibility, you're changing the duties, and you're changing the salary.
Council
The
President.
only thing that you're not changing is the person.
Well, Council President, respectfully, we disagree.
Council President.
Councilor Vice President Infante.
Thank you. And thank you for bringing our attention to these flow charts, because now that I'm really looking at these again, I'm noticing other positions within these flow charts. Police lead coordinator, fire lead coordinator, DPW and ISD lead coordinator, IT and vet services lead
That's a
coordinator.
department.
I don't recall any ordinance. We have not approved any of these positions.
Those are not positioned through you, Council President.
Sure.
These are not positioned. This is requiring that each department, based on their technical skills, should have someone that works directly with the person that is writing grant. So, for instance, mention any department, police department.
Let me-
You have someone that is going to provide the information, the grant writer not necessarily would have all the expertise in all the technical language that is necessary to write the grant.
Senior
So each
advisor,
department would have someone who would be coordinating.
I'm going to direct your attention on page 2 of the second flow chart that I'm looking at now. These lead coordinators are within, and remember, I come from the private sector, so I've seen a lot of these flow charts. I know how to properly read them. So I'm seeing these lead coordinators are within the circle or the premise or the area, the office that would be directed or managed by the director of the project management and development, who then will work with an appointee of each department that is represented by these boxes right here. So this is, so what you were just explaining to me, you're saying that each department would have a lead within the department to work with the grant, but this illustration that we have here shows otherwise. It shows additional to then work within interdepartmental appointees. So what you're explaining does not match this illustration that we have here, this graph.
Well, maybe you're right, but this is the situation. Each department should have a responsibility.
And page 3 reflects that as well with the other additional departments that I mentioned earlier.
Through Council President, the intention is not to create additional positions. This is just a flow chart indicating the work relationship between this position and the different departments. Right now, you have a person, let's say from all the departments, nobody is in charge of providing, number one, the information, the need for funding, number two, also to provide the technical lingo or jargon, as we call it, to provide the grant writer with the information. What you're seeing this, and I understand that maybe for you it's not clear, but each department, it shows that each department would have a point person to work with the project manager and development.
That is illustrated here, that they will have a point person that would work with a coordinator that's within the team of the Director of Project Management and Development. That is what, this is what is showing. I'm not making this up. This is what I'm seeing, this is how I'm reading it. This is what, these are the yellow individuals, these are the people, the lead coordinators that are shown that would work within this department. The next page, each of those will then be working with another lead person or representative from the departments of the city. And again, and then it shows the rest.
Yes.
This is, I'm not making this up, so I'm reading it, I'm seeing it, I'm analyzing it. This is what is being presented.
I don't know if, through you, Council President, I think it's very clear. I've worked in the private sector as well, coming with 36 years of experience. I'm not sure.
So then you would know to not try to say otherwise, because this, I can show this to anyone. This is exactly what it is. And I do not like that you're questioning my ability to read a flow chart.
Council Vice President, you are one individual. I haven't heard it. I would like to hear from the rest of the council, probably for you and respectfully, may not understand something that probably others may, but I leave it, and I say it respectfully.
Well, I'll follow up on Councilor Vice President Infante. That was the first thing I said. This is a department. It might not be like this, but on papers, what we have is what we have. This is a new department, and if a duty change, title change, responsibilities change, salary change, we shouldn't be dealing with this as a title change. It's a new position that if we agree, you guys can the administration can present this as a creation of a new position, so we can transfer it over to the proper departments and not transfer just to ordinance as a title change and focus around there. Because title have changed, salary have changed, duties and responsibility have changed. And if we don't post this position, we might be missing on hundreds of people that might be able to apply. And that's not the proper process. If the duty change, and then you should post the position as a new position.
Through you, Mr. President.
If I may.
Sure.
So when dealing with a non-union employee, you can reorganize or reclassify that employee's job duties or responsibilities and all of the things you mentioned. And the person, because we're taking one role and changing title, duties, and all of those things. It's common in a non-union position to do that, and you can absorb the employee that's currently holding that position into the new position without reposting it. That is a decision that is a managerial decision, but legally you can do that in a non-union position. You could also, of course, reclassify, reorganize that position and post it as a new position. The question then becomes, the person currently holding that position, what do you do with them if they're currently in that position? And what you would have to do is you'd have to lay off that employee, and then they would have to reapply to the new position along with everyone else in that pool. Now, if the person was laid off and previously holding that position, they may have a preference, a hiring preference in that situation. That's all managerial decisions that you can make. However, you can reclassify, reorganize the position, and absorb the current person in that position without reposting it. It's a managerial decision.
All right, understood. Councilors, any questions? Councilor Reyes?
Just comments because but the director answered my question. Through previous job, what I have, when they increase responsibility and also when they increase more responsibility, they increase the salary. And also sometimes when you grow for the position you have, sometimes they change the title. So through my previous job, I had this kind of opportunity to grow through different position, and they not opening the position. They only change the title, and when you have more responsibility, absolutely, yeah, you request more salary. So
Yeah.
I want to give you that comment.
And I also
Council
understand
President.
that, but I mean, when we're dealing with public funds, it's a little tricky and different because we also lacking people from getting those opportunities, and that could be challenging court.
Mr. President, can I
Council
just
President.
clarify one thing
Sure.
just about the salary, going back to the salary question, the comment that I kind of opened up with? The salary is, a separate piece from the position and the duties and the approval of the position itself. The salary, the way that would be determined is, we do an evaluation based upon the Collins Center report that was done for the city. We do an evaluation based upon the duties, responsibility, education, qualifications of the position. We make a recommendation for a salary based upon all of that. We make that recommendation to the council, and the council would vote on updating the classification plan based upon that recommendation. So it is two separate things.
Yeah.
The ordinance wouldn't be approved.
Council President.
Sure.
No, but yeah, that's essentially it.
You are,
Councilor
thank you.
Luzon?
Yes, thank you, Council President. And I'm here amazed on your explanation, but it looks like you don't work, you just started working for the city of Lawrence, because in this administration, things happen differently.
Right.
So what I'm seeing here is a change of title, and then it's going to be a change of salary. That's what I'm seeing in front of me. So I hope that from now on, things can start moving forward in the way you describe it. But based on what I have seen, it's totally different.
Right.
Council
Well,
President.
Councilor Vice President Infante.
Thank you. My last comment on these flow charts. I'm disappointed in how this was presented to us because I heard the ordinance meeting and I originally understood the intent or what we're trying to do here. I've personally met with a grant writer one-on-one many times, and I know the hard work that she puts in. And she's very, very, very passionate about her job. One thing that I ask Director Owens and to the administration, if the city is growing and people are becoming overwhelmed, that I 100% understand within our departments. If this is the route that we're going, I hope that we do it the right way. And I hope to see ordinances, proposals in the future to approve these positions and go towards the direction that the city needs to go in order for the city's success. Thank you.
And councilors, any other questions? It happened that I agree with what Councilor Infante is saying, Council Vice President Infante. I mean, I think that we have great opportunity here to do the proper thing and to create that position and probably not necessarily fund the other positions and keep it until we understand and agree that we can fund it both. But I think that, doing it right and creating this position accordingly and allow people to apply to it. And I'm pretty sure that the grant writer that we have, she's more than capable. But doing it right, I think it will be the best. Councilors, any other questions? What is the underlying motion? So it was sent to us as with a favorable recommendation, and that was presented as a form of a motion. And it was seconded by Councilor Santiago.
It was with a clarification to the salary.
Yeah, it was with a clarification of the salary.
Can I make an amendment?
You looking for a friendly amendment?
Yes, Council President. That's okay.
Present your friendly amendment, let's see if it get accepted.
Thank you. I'm looking to add to the motion, well, how, and perhaps one of my colleagues can help me word this. I want to make sure that whatever vote, the vote that we take tonight is strictly for the change to
And the type.
Director Project Management and Development. Everything else that was presented to us, I don't want this to slip under the rug. Because all of this should go through the proper processes as well. But I'm trying to word it in my head and it's not coming to me. So,
Can we motion to table? Or do we need to
so.
Let me ask you a quick question. Is the salary clarified? Because that was one of the questions that it was pending.
Is the salary clear?
It was clarified at some point.
No, so the position would be created in ordinance, and then from there, the salary is determined based upon the non-union classification plan. So the personnel department, I would look at the qualifications, the duties, all of those things. I would try to follow that based upon the Collins Center report, which is a study that was done for the city to determine non-union salaries. From there, the position would be to fall within a grade within the non-union classification plan, and then we would come before the council to update the non-union classification plan based
Understand.
on the position.
Perfect. So
That-
there is some work that needs to be done yet when it comes to the salary.
Salary is a separate
Yeah.
piece because
All
you'll be
right.
updating the non-union classification plan that is
All
ordinance
right.
with the city.
No problem. At this point, I'm gonna be sending this item 37424 to the personnel committee so we can clarify that and work that portion out. And then we can see both out here at the full council. So moving forward, this item has been transferred over or sent out to the personnel committee. Thank you.
Thank you.
So item 36424, Madam Vice Chair from the ordinance committee.
Through you, Council President, softball tournament, August 31st, 2024, and September 1st, 2024, at 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. O'Connor Park, Field 1 and 2. PP 24000021 was sending with favor recommendation is a formal motion to approve.
All right, there is a motion to approve. Can I hear a second?
Second.
Properly second, discussion. I hear none, so at this point I call the question. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes, any nays? The ayes have it, thank you. It's been approved. Item 36624, Madam Vice Chair from the Ordinance Committee.
Family gathering, September 1st, 2024, at 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. At Estoro Park, SPE 24-000051 is by Councilor Santiago and Deborah Rodriguez. It's a formal motion to approve.
There is a motion to approve, properly second, discussion.
Discussion.
Councilor Del Rosario.
It was also pending information. There was a payment due to water and sewer, and she should have sent it back. And I'm hearing on the background that they sent a motion to withdraw. So if Councilor Selena Reyes would like to withdraw that, and we can place a motion to withdraw by the.
Councilor Fidelina Santiago, you're not one of the actors.
No, just, I sent the information to the applicant, that the information we was required, and I didn't hear any notice about it.
So, motion to withdraw? All right,
Motion to withdraw?
motion to withdraw, properly second, discussion, no discussion, all those in favor to withdraw, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Madam Vice Chair from the Ordinance Committee, item 36724.
Celebrating public month, overdose awareness event on August 24, 2024, from 8 a.m. p.m. and 10 a.m. Procession from Campamento Park to Escarito Park, the venue and Escarito Park. Es 24-000052 by Ana Javier.
Can you hear, is that, can you hear a second?
Second.
Properly second discussion.
Question,
Question, Councilor Luzon.
just, Council President, are they going to be walking from the common park to the Escarito Park? Are they going to be using the sidewalks? Okay, just wanted to know that. Thank you, Ana.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? I hear none, so at this point, I call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Madam Vice Chair, from the Ordinance Committee, item 36824. Item 36824, the resolution regarding the status of the Lawrence Redevelopment Authority and the transfer of the properties.
Thank you, Councilor President. The resolution regarding the status of the Lawrence Redevelopment Authority and transfer of property by Council President Giovanni Rodriguez. We send it in February.
It's a committee report.
We send it with committee report.
You're making that as a form of motion to accept the committee report?
Second.
Yes.
All right, there is a motion to accept that as a committee report. Properly second. Discussion on the committee report. I hear none. All those in favor to accept the committee report, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. I can hear a motion, councilors, now to continue the discussion. Any motion on the resolution?
Discussion?
Any motions? Before we have a discussion, we need to have a motion.
Motion.
Motion
Formal motion to approve?
Motion to approve, can I hear a second?
Second.
Properly second. Discussion. We have Attorney Houghton here that he can answer any questions that we may have.
Good evening, Council. Just for the record, Tim Hooton, City Attorney. Many of you, I hope you did see, I've sent 2 emails today at the request of the Council President to give you an update on what's happened. As you can see, the first thing, if you just to go a little background, is as you remember, the LRA, the last time there was a joint meeting, was sending to the state a request to amend the urban renewal program to add certain other properties. At that time, it was not decided whether this would be considered a major change or a minor change. I put that letter in from the LRA's attorney. In response, we just received a letter from the state, which said that they accepted it's a minor change and did allow the LRA to add the additional properties to the urban renewal program. The second thing is, I sent you a copy of a letter which was addressed to each of you and emailed to you, not by me, but by Attorney Corrigan, which told you what the LRA is doing now and what they're currently doing. They have a request for proposals out regarding all the lands. And once they get those in, they would like to form a committee, a review committee. As you can see, they ask for certain people to be appointed. They ask that the council appoint some people, the mayor appoint some people, the people at large. So I've included that in there also. Obviously, none of that will be happening until after the September 13th when they are, all the requests for proposals are going in. So right now, things have moved on. My position is still the same. I think it's even further codified by the fact that myself and the LRA may have a difference of opinion on whether the urban renewal program, at the time that the city council voted on it, consisted of an assent by the city council. I think even if I were to be wrong on that issue, the city council at that time would have no knowledge of the added properties. So how could they have voted on properties they didn't even know existed? So clearly, there is no vote by the city council approving a transfer on that, even under the best of circumstances. So this is something the LRA and the city council are going to work out. I believe they have to come back to the city council, but I think they're making best efforts right now. They're trying to form a committee, have everybody get a consensus, take a look, because I know certain councilors on this board have concerns, and they want to make sure that this is very out in the open. They want to make sure that this is what, the people that are bidding, we want to know who they are, we want to know what the plans are, that there's no, not with suggesting this any backroom deals, but that there's all be very out in the open. And I think this committee is the start of that. But at the moment, my report to you is that there are no requests to my office to transfer any properties. I have not done any deeds. There is nothing that's happening. So I think that this is still in the light. And so I guess the next step is up to the board, what they want to do with the LRA as far as the appointments to that little committee. But
So, Attorney Hilton.
that's kind of my report. It really has nothing to do with your vote tonight. More has to do with the background of what's happening.
So now, Attorney Hilton, now that you have the background given to the councilors, so let's focus on what we have in front of us. Item 36824. The resolution in regard to the status of the Lawrence Redevelopment Authority and the transfer of the city properties. So you put this resolution together. Explain to us what this resolution will do for the proponent and for the people that are currently bidding on it.
And I know, again, I speak in a factual manner. Sometimes some people take umbrage with it or don't like it, but remember, a resolution is just you requesting something. It's not law. It's not, you're not passing an ordinance, you're just making a resolution. Much like you have a resolution as that, the city should honor someone in the future. It's not binding. So what you're trying to do is make the LRA aware that you're still concerned and that you're going to keep your eye on it. I think what you've seen here today is the LRA is still keeping your eye on it, and that they're getting you involved on it. So I think your resolution, if passed, just informs them some more that, your belief is that the city council has a lot more to do with these properties, needs a lot more information on this property, and lets them know that you're still on top of this. So that's what it accomplishes. It's a letter so that nobody thinks like, with many things in the city, sometimes people get a little weary. A year passes, 6 months, 9 months passes, and people think, well, they're not interested anymore. I think that the purpose of this resolution is to say that this is a very important issue to the city council, and the city council wants the LRA to know that they're still interested.
And also very quick that the city council is the only body of the city of Lawrence within the city that can execute resolutions through an official opinion of the city of Lawrence, not necessarily the city council. So this will become an official opinion of the city of Lawrence if it passed today. So, councilors, when it comes to item 36824, which is the resolution in regard to the status of the LRA and the proper process to transfer the properties. Any questions in regard to this? Councilor Marmo?
So, Attorney Houghton, in reading your opinion here, and I feel like we're just reiterating what has been previously discussed, but correct me or jog my memory once again. It says here, the office's opinion in that the transfer to the LRA, although exempt from the requirements of Mass General Laws, Chapter 30B, are not exempt from the city's requirements that all land transfers must be signed by the mayor after approval of the city council.
Mike.
Correct me if I'm wrong, the city council never approved and relinquishing our duties in that approval, have we?
Again, my opinion is you have not. There are others that hold the opinion that by voting for the urban renewal program, which contain those properties, that was the assent of the city council.
So, and here I want to be corrected if I'm wrong. You know, from my memory, if my memory serves me right, it has yet come before us to which it has been approved by, by the city council body where that decision has been made. So honestly, I feel like with this item, I'm a little confused as to where we stand with these properties.
Well, we stand with the properties currently as the city owns these properties. The city has done nothing with the properties. We have, the mayor has allowed the LRA to go out for requests for proposals on these properties to see if there's a better use, if they could bring in business, if they could bring in tax dollars to the city. And the LRA is doing that. I'm going to make this up from whole cloth. This is completely, if the parking lot next door, we put out for a request for proposal, and someone told you they were going to put a $10 million structure there that would help the city, maybe a medical facility, something like that, that would help the city and in be in the best interest, then it would be at that point, they would come to you and say, is that something the city wants there? Or is there another use that you want there? That's what this purpose is, to see. Is anybody interested? I mean, you have some sites like Tombarello, which have brownfields, and there may be no interest, but I think that's what they're trying to find out right now. Is there any interest in any of these properties? Maybe there isn't, maybe there is. Currently, they're, for the most part, used as parking lots, so.
Yep. All right, councilors, at this point, if there is no questions, I will I'll call the questions in regard to item 360A-24, which is a resolution regarding the status of the Lawrence Redevelopment Authority RFP and the transfer of the city properties. If it is no questions in regard to these items, I'll call the questions. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any nays? The motion is to approve the resolution in regard to the status of the Lawrence Redevelopment Authority, RFPs, and the transfer of the city properties. This is just for the resolution. The resolution in regard, the legal opinion of the city of Lawrence in regard to the current status. If it is anybody up there being part of that, of the request for proposal, thinking that the LRA owns those properties, we are making sure that they get in those documents and they're clear about the process as to how it's going to be in the future. So I'll repeat the question again. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Roll call for the record, please.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor LaPlante is noted as absent. Councilor Luzon?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Marmol?
Yes.
Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez?
I vote yes. The vote is unanimous.
Thank you very much, Council.
Thank you so much. The next item, Madam Vice Chair, from the Ordinance Committee is item 380-124.
Remove handicap parking space 19 Logan Street by Councilor Santiago.
That's the order of public hearing?
Yes, was ending with.
That's a motion?
Second.
There's a motion on the table to order public hearing. All those in favor, please say, properly second discussion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 397-24.
Disclosure of potential conflict by city employee Jennifer Duran, assisting Claire. We send in with favor recommendation is a formal motion.
There is a motion on the table.
Second.
Properly second discussion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 398-24.
Disclosure of potential conflict by employee Alisa Coco, Director of Carbon Analysis. We send it with favor recommendation is a formal motion.
There's a motion on the table.
Second.
Properly second discussion. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 399-24.
Disclosure of potential conflict by city employee Lisa Motono, program assistant. We send it with favor recommendation is a formal motion.
Second.
There's a motion on the table, properly second, discussion. I hear none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 422.
Disclosure
24.
of potential conflict by city employee Adely Gonzalez, Recreation Director. If we send it with favorable recommendation, is a formal motion.
Second.
There's a motion on the table, properly second, discussion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Councilor, that item 424 means that we have deal with 400 items this year. So now we go into the Personnel Committee. Item 39524, the extension of the 90-day appointment, DPW Director, Rosana del Rosario. We have the Director of Personnel here with us. Councilor Del Rosario have recused himself due to a potential conflict of interest. Just for the record. Before you I release the floor to you, Madam Vice Chair, Madam Chair from the Personnel Committee and Vice President Infante.
Thank you, Council President. Before we proceed with the items, I do want to make my colleagues aware that the committee report that's included in our packets, the notes are wrong. We did not send either personnel items as a favorable recommendation, so I just wanted to make sure that you guys know. All right, the first item is item 395-24, the extension of 90-day appointment for the DPW Director, Rosana del Rosario, was sent up as a committee report pending additional information to prior posting and clarification, and I make that as a formal motion.
There is a motion on the table, properly second, discussion.
Discussion.
Councilor Vice President Infante.
Thank you. Through you, Council President, we did ask Director Owens a few questions about the prior posting and if, et cetera. So I'm assuming you have answers for us today.
I do. If I may, Mr. President, Michael Owens, Personnel Director for the City of Lawrence. Thank you for allowing me to come before you on these matters tonight. So I was before the Personnel Committee, as Madam Vice President mentioned, and the committee was looking for the prior postings and kind of the history of how the positions were posted and whatnot. I did provide yesterday to the Madam Clerk, City Clerk, that posting from April 9th of this year. I also provided the history from the Civic Engage site that we use to post the jobs. There was a posting from March 27th, an initial posting. We weren't able to retrieve that posting. We did check with the IT director, Carlos Castillo, to see if we could retrieve that, and we could not. But we were able to retrieve and provide the April 9th posting. The reason for that is because when the job is posted, it was posted and then reposted. The latest posting is the only thing that's available from the site. So the latest posting replaces the previous posting. So we weren't able to retrieve that March 27th posting. But the position was posted. There were some questions about what was passed in ordinance versus what was posted. There were some slight discrepancies between what is ordinance and what was posted. We are planning to repost the position to match the ordinance, but I'm before the council tonight to respectfully request extensions of the 90-day appointments up to another 90 days for both Deputy Del Rosario and Deputy Santa Ana. The reason for that is because we want to continue DPW operations uninterrupted. I personally have had the privilege to work with both of these deputies directly on personnel matters and other operational matters that kind of come across the personnel department. I know the work is ongoing. I think it would be a detriment to DPW operations and to the city for that work to be uninterrupted. So I'm before the council asking that those temporary appointments be extended on a temporary basis to allow us to properly post the positions and go through any applicants that apply.
Council President.
Council Vice President Infante.
Thank you. What is the timeline you have for the new posting?
As soon as possible. You know what, with the current workflow of the department, we are pretty behind in full transparency. So hopefully within 2 weeks. It's not going to be this week. We'd be lucky if we could get it by the end of next week, but we do plan on reposting the positions.
Thank you.
Any councilors that have questions on the temporary appointment, extension of the temporary appointments for an extra 90 days with a compromise of posting the positions? Any questions in regard to that the specific item? We're dealing with item 39524, right?
Yes, I'm looking for the right now.
So Council Vice President is looking for the ordinance in regard to item for the DPW Deputy Director. I know that we found it at some point and we have the ordinance. It's an old ordinance. Obviously, Council Vice President.
I think I just found it.
I mean, the posting is different than the ordinance.
We
They have to match.
We don't have the posting.
I think I just found the order.
Mr. President, if I could, it was previously the municipal services manager position in ordinance. The ordinance was amended
I got it.
to change it to the DPW director position. That was the most significant changes. Most of the duties remain the same.
So, but that change was approved
Yes, that was ordinance that
in December.
that was done. And
yeah,
so
that happened.
the only discrepancy is slight differences between what was ordinance and what was posted. So the proper course forward would be to repost the position to match the ordinance.
Gotcha. On the ordinance, there is no education mentioned, right?
There is.
There is,
Right.
okay.
There's a high school graduate, and
That's the ordinance, right?
that's the ordinance.
the
Through you, Council President, I'm having difficulties with this because I also worked with with two individuals we have before us, and they've been doing great. But I also, I always said to myself that I will not let this position jeopardize my morals and my values. And I know that this position, the ordinance and the posting was very simplified. I have a copy of, hold on just one second. I have a copy of the posting for the Assistant DPW Director for the City of Medford.
The posting?
And, I mean, they were requiring a bachelor's degree in civil engineering or a master's degree, professional engineering license, 10 years of responsible experience. And I don't know why, it's similar work. I don't know why the city of Lawrence is simplifying this position.
If I may, what you were just reading there, was that a posting in another city? I didn't catch the first part.
Yes, from the city of Medford.
Okay.
So basically, same positions is different. We call it Deputy DPW Director. They're calling it Assistant DPW Director, which is the same thing. So that's where I'm having a conflict, where I know they're capable, but I know the work is a lot complex than how we have it presented, and I'm very conflicted.
So, Mr. President, if I could just follow up on that, Madam Vice President. So, I totally understand your point. The real issue is what was ordinance. You know, so to capture some of those duties and qualifications that that other cities may have, it would require an ordinance change to reflect that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, and if I may, a lot of that comes from the department level. The department level kind of puts forward what they want for ordinance changes to reflect the needs of the department. Going forward, I hope the HR department can guide a little more of that, guide some of that, and provide some guidance as to best practices around recruiting and qualifications for positions. But at this point, it's at the department level to kind of shape what the position should look like.
So, Councilor Vice President, this is the current posting?
That is the posting that was, that was the latest posting from April 9th.
Okay, and my Councilor Vice President, this is the latest posting. Do you have that? Is that, can I see the ordinance in the meantime while you're reading this?
So, Mr. President, if I could just make one other point. The posting actually required a higher level of education than the ordinance. The only real discrepancy, that pretty much the duties are there's some slight, variations as to the wording, but pretty much the duties are the same from the ordinance to the posting. The biggest difference there is about the qualifications in terms of, there's some language in the ordinance about 5 years increasing experience versus 3 years increased experience that's in the job posting. So that's really the biggest difference.
But guess what? I just told the Council Vice President that the ordinance and the posting are slightly different. So if one way work and the other way is like what we agree upon, I mean, that's something that definitely is slightly different. I seen the posting that is a lot more complex than the ordinance. It's more aligned to the job as far as the posting, the current posting.
So perhaps that's perhaps we could work with the HR department and the city attorney's office to amend the ordinance, as the intent is to repost this and ensure that the ordinance reflects how we have the job posting.
Yeah, I think that, because the thing is, that's why sometimes you cannot just change titles. Mm-hmm. This municipal service manager is not the same as the deputy. It's different. So all right, what's the intent here? What is the plan? What are you planning on doing?
So, Mr. President, I'm respectfully asking the council to extend the appointment of both of these deputies on a temporary basis, allow us to reassess, make any changes that we need to. But again, I really want to stress the importance of continuing the work for the department. I mean, personally, I've worked closely with both of these deputies on personnel matters. I mean, we have a very important personnel matter coming up later this week involving one of these deputies who will be representing the department. I don't, as Councilor Luzon pointed out earlier, I'm new to the city. I don't have, any prior relationships with anyone in the city, including these deputies, but I can speak to my interactions with them to this point. They're incredibly professional. They really have quickly picked up personnel issues, I've been dealing almost on a daily basis with these deputies, and I can personally vouch for how professional and how
Understood.
credible they are in those positions, especially on personnel matters. So I want that work to be able to continue.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm asking for the extension.
Yeah, no problem. So what we're dealing with today is with one thing: the extension of the 90 days. And the compromise of changing whatever you need to change to be able to post the positions accordingly. We have a compromise that is being presented with the intent of extending those temporary positions for extra 90 days so everybody can be aware of what we're doing and the level of transparency that we're dealing with this issue. So at this point, I will call the questions. If there is no other questions, I will call the questions about item 395-24, which is the extension of the 90 days. Appointment for the DPW Deputy Director, Rosana del Rosario. Any questions on that? At this point, I'll call the questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. Now we're gonna deal with item 39724, which is the same situation. 396, sorry.
396-24, the extension of
The extension of the 90
90
days
days
for the,
appointment
for Ida Santana.
for,
No. I'm just letting. Madam Vice Chair, Stephanie Infante, and Chair of the Personnel Committee.
item 396-24, extension of 90-day appointment for DPW Deputy Director Ida Santana. This was sent up as a committee report pending additional information that we just heard, so I make that as a formal motion.
Second.
There is a motion on the table properly second, the same compromise, the same commitment, and the same level of transparency as discussed previously. Any discussions about this? I hear no questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it.
Motion to approve.
There was not a motion?
Was a committee report.
Oh, that was the committee report. So there is a motion to approve the extension of the 90 days appointment for Ida Santana.
Second.
Any questions? I hear no questions. It's been seconded by Councilor Reyes. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. No report from the Safety Committee, no report from the Committee of the Whole. Thank you so much. Old business, we have item 32024, Mind with Purpose. That was originally out of ordinance. Mind with Purpose, August 11, 2024, at the O'Connor Park, by Jeuris Santiago, approved on July 16, 2024, and they are now requesting a change of a date for August 25, 2024. Councilors, any questions in regard to this? Do we need to? We need to, this is at the ordinance?
Actually,
committee? No.
This came out of ordinance committee.
It was approved.
It was approved at the ordinance committee. So this one doesn't have to be pulled from committee. They sent it up. The other two need to be pulled from committee.
Okay, so essentially on this item, we need to reconsider.
Motion to reconsider. Everyone was on the prevailing side, so.
So, councilors, at this point, we're gonna have to suspend the rules to allow the council to reconsider this post. Can I reconsider a vote? Can I hear a motion to suspend the rules
So move.
for a vote reconsideration? Can I hear a second?
Second.
Discussion on that on that motion. I hear none, so at this point I call the questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Now, councilors, can I hear a motion to reconsider? All of the councilors vote in favor, so anybody can reconsider their vote to be able to have the new date for this specific event.
Motion to reconsider.
There is a
Second.
motion to reconsider, properly second. Discussion. Just to state it for the record, Mind with Purpose on August 11, 2024 was approved on July 16, 2024, and they're requesting a new date for 8/25/2024. The council have reconsidered the vote, and now we are in the process of discussing. Any discussions on this? If the author of the event, if they're here, if they can explain to us a little more as of what is the event, so you can promote it as well. So give us a quick update as of what is it that you guys gonna do, and if you guys can invite us, we might show up.
Absolutely.
Name and address for the record, please.
Rubén Morillo, address 37 Warren Street. So I'm a local entrepreneur. I work with a lot of people in the community, and I wanted to find a way to give back to the community. So on the date of August 25th, 2024, I'm planning on putting together a back-to-school drive to give back.
Oh, this is not yours?
There's another item on the.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, so Mind with Purpose are they here?
Oh,
No. Mind with Purpose. All right, there is a motion on the table to for approval. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Now we have item 36524, which is,
Since say I here, Council Vice President is asking if you could please take this item 40624.
all right, now, councilors, since none of the next two items, nobody's here, so we can deal with this item, which is on new business. And for that, we need to declare this as an emergency and be able to discuss it at this level, so we don't have to. And we declare it an emergency, suspend the rule not to send it to committee, and deal with that at the full council level. So councilors, for item 30624, which is the GRB Back to School Drive on August 25th, 2024, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Can you get a motion to declare this as an emergency to be able to discuss it at this level due to the date? There is a motion to declare this as an emergency, properly second discussion. I hear none, so all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So, Councilor, now I need to suspend the rules to be able to allow us to discuss it at this level. Can I get a motion to suspend the rules?
So moved.
Second.
There is a motion to suspend the rules, properly second. Any discussion on the suspension of the rules? I hear none, so all those in favor, please say aye. Now,
Aye.
councilors, we have this item at this level. Can I hear a motion to deal with this item?
Motion to approve.
There is a motion to approve, properly second discussion. So now we can allow the applicants to give us a little bit of background about the item. So welcome again and name and address for the record.
Ruen Morillo, 37 Orange Street. So I'm planning on putting together a back-to-school drive for the city of Lawrence. Like I said, I'm a local entrepreneur. I work with a lot of people in the area, so I wanted to give back to the city. On August 25 of this year, at the Camden Common Street Park, I wanted to do a back-to-school drive from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. The mission is going to be to give back to the city, to the community, assist families that are maybe struggling financially and can't afford to buy school supplies for their kids at the moment. We will be providing students of all ages with book bags, school supplies. We're going to have barbers there to give the kids haircuts if approved by the parents. Same with braiding. We're going to be providing free food. We're going to have a lot of vendors there as well. I have a bank that's going to be sponsoring us as well. So that's pretty much what the event is going to be about, a back-to-school drive.
So, councilors, let me ask you a quick question. You gonna have music?
If possible. If not, then no.
Okay. So, because that requires another level of approval through the police department and members of the ordinance committee, so you might be able to explain a little bit as of how you guys are dealing with that at that level.
Thank you, through you, Council President. Well, what we recommend also is, now we're dealing here to approve it or deny it, so there's no way to go back and do this thing. But what we recommend on the ordinance committee is if they're gonna have the speakers, make sure that they don't face it to the people and that it's not as loud as it is.
Okay.
That's basically the recommendation is, but because they did this process, there's no process, they actually go through the police department or none of that, so.
Okay.
Right, so make sure that if you have any type of a speaker, that you have it towards you, not to any individual or to any other group or to the cities or through their neighborhoods. Make sure that you have time to clean up before and after. Make sure that everything it's in peace and quiet. Make sure that you inform the police that you have come to the city council. And the fact that it's going to be on the 25th, which is down a couple of days from today, that you wanna work with them and make sure that everything is all set on their ends. To make sure that they know that you're there doing the drive.
Sounds good.
Any other questions, councilors?
I might have one more question as well.
Sure.
Would I be provided with outlets by any chance?
That's
No.
questions that we don't have.
There are outlets on the common, but I don't know how they get access to them.
Yeah, there is outlets at the common.
Okay.
But we don't know what's the process to be able to get those. I'm assuming that you need to contact the DPW department.
I have your phone number in your application. I'll reach out to you tomorrow. We'll follow up with you.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
Yeah, but in case, get a little generator. All right, councilors, any other questions in regard to this this specific item, this back to school drive? I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank
Next year, when you're planning on doing that, please give us a little bit of time so we can do it in the proper way.
Sounds good. I'll make sure to do
Just
it.
1 month ahead, and we'll be good.
I got you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, councilors, going back to the old business, we have two items at the old business. Item 36524, el Día del Juego de la Familia Sport Day, volleyball on August 31st. That, I believe, is at the ordinance committee, right? That is at the ordinance committee. Councilors, for us to pull it off committee, we need 6 votes. So, councilors, if you guys desire, we can pull it off committee and deal with that since the date is approaching. So, I entertain a motion at this time.
So move.
There is a motion on the table to pull it off from committee to deal with it out here.
Second.
Properly second. Discussion. I hear none, so all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Now we have it here at this, that the full council level councilors was the motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Can you hear a second?
Second.
Properly second. Discussion. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 40124, name of the park relocated at Canal Street and Oxford and at Oxford Paper Mill, unofficially called Oxford Park, to be renamed to Julio Silverio Park by Mayor Brian De Peña. It is tabled at the ordinance committee. Councilors,
Council
at
President.
this point, I'll entertain a motion.
Council President.
Yes, Councilor Rosado.
It was a request to leave a table. They preparing all the paperwork, and because we might have ordinance on Monday, that's when they're gonna present it and on table there at that level.
No
So
problem.
we can leave a
So,
table.
it's
Second.
Still at the ordinance committee. All right. So any table matters that we wanna to deal with tonight? I hear none, so I go to,
May I speak for a second?
sure, Madam Clerk?
Councilors, I apologize. Document number 138-23, excuse me, -24 is on your agendas. It was authorization to fulfill the licensing coordinator position that was vacant for more than 6 months, but when we actually met to talk about that, we realized it was not an ordinance, an underlying ordinance. The city attorney did provide us with the ordinance language, so before we can fill the position, you have to order a public hearing to, this time the city attorney asked if we could please order a public hearing to post that on the ordinance itself.
All right, this is a petition to order a public hearing on item 13824. We have it at the full council already, so it's a matter of just ordering the public hearing. Councilor, what's the desire?
So move.
There is a motion to order a public hearing on item 13824. Can you hear a second?
Second.
Properly second. Discussion. I hear none. All those in favor to order a public hearing, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. So now I go into the new business. Item 30424, the dedication of Officer Jacob Aisi Square, Stephen Avenue area, Councilor Stefan Infante and Tom Curry. This is going to the ordinance committee. Item 40424, handicap parking 117 Oxford Street. This is going to the ordinance committee. Items 40524, celebrating el Día de la Biblia, or the Bible Day, September 28, 2024, from 3:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Campaña Common. This is going to ordinance committee. Item 40724, Light on Lawrence Day, DB Awareness Month, October 3rd, 2024, from 6 to 7 p.m. at the Campañon Common. This is going to the ordinance committee. Item 40824, the removal of handicap parking on 117 Stephen Ave. This is going to the ordinance committee. Item 40924, handicap parking 63 Milton Street, Maria Concepcion. This is going to the ordinance committee. Item 41024, handicap parking at 23 4th Street. This is going to the ordinance committee. Item 41124, payment of previous year bill for the amount of $56,763.5. This is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Councilor, next meeting's on Thursday, Thursday, September 5th. It's going to be an election on the 3rd. And ordinance is supposed to happen on the 26th of this month. So we are not having the meeting on the 3rd. Instead, we're going to have the meeting on the 5th, which is a Thursday. Okay, councilors? So Budget and Finance Committee, one meeting for one item.
Wednesday, the 28th at 7 p.m.
Wednesday, the 28th at 7 p.m. Any housing items? There is no items on the Housing Committee. Yes, we have something for personnel, Madam Chair, from personnel.
Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Sunday?
Wednesday, the 28th at 6 p.m.
Sunday?
Yep.
All right, Wednesday the 28th at 6 p.m. Safety Committee, I hear none. Economic Development Committee, I hear none. We are all set, right? Ordinance is on Monday, August 26th. I read that, yeah. Yeah, I already have that. All right, anything else, councilors? Any motions? I'll stay.
Motion to adjourn.